I'm going to go ahead and get started so we can end this right on time. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. So my name is Madison Tinkle, and I'm an account manager for the workplace engagement here at United Way of Greater Nashville. And I have the pleasure of presenting today's Tour Tuesday. Tour Tuesday is an opportunity for folks to get inside look at the incredible work happening in our community through United Way partner agencies, for fellow nonprofit staff. That is an informative way for you to learn about other service providers that is happening and programs that might be beneficial to their own clients. For those who are looking to get involved, Tour Tuesday can be a great way to hear about current volunteer engagement opportunities. And for our United Way donors, this is a fantastic opportunity to hear from the agencies who are putting their dollars into the community. Each tour features agencies and programs from across Greater Nashville as we come together to discuss the current community conditions and how we can help to improve the conditions for our families. During today's tour, we will be hearing from our current partner agencies that we currently fund. They're building stability, they're compassionate and collaborative on a very special topic, rental and mortgage assistance programs. We have the great privilege of being joined by representatives from two of our partners, and they are Rooftop Nashville and Habitat for Humanity of Greater Nashville. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our panelists. First, we have Lisa Woolley, the Executive Director for Rooftop Nashville. And also with us is Lucille Houseworth, the Chief Administrative Officer for Habitat for Humanity of Greater Nashville. She is also joined by John Barnfield and Joanna Rich. Let's get started with Tour Tuesday. I'd like to share about the services you provide, your service region, and the impact you have on the community and the outcomes that you see. Lisa, you can go ahead and start us off.
Okay. Can you all see that screen?
Yes, we can, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. And I apologize that I am just a talking voice this morning. I'm having some computer issues with my camera, and we're not able to change that prior to starting. I am the Executive Director of Rooftop Nashville, and we are a nonprofit that serves just Davidson County. And our mission is to keep Nashville housed, building stability through a collaborative and compassionate rent and mortgage assistance program. Rooftop has a very simple model. We provide assistance, and that's rent or mortgage assistance, for individuals or families in Davidson County who are experiencing a one-time financial hardship and have the resolution already in place. What that means for us is our residents who are cost burdened, who are spending about 30% or more of their income on housing, when they have that one-time financial hardship, maybe it's they were sick, there was a car repair, there's been a surgery, something that's gone on that's made them choose between rent or mortgage and paying that for that hardship. But they'll be fine moving forward. When it is an ongoing chronic situation, then we connect those individuals with other resources in our community. Our average grant is about $1,600 right now. That's because rents have gone up. We assist generally once every 12 months, and we clear the balance to zero. That granting is supported by the United Way's Community Impact Grant, but we do other things. And I was laughing with my staff this morning. I said, this is going to be a commercial for United Way, because we partner with United Way both as primary and secondary partners in a lot of the work that we do. We are currently right now still administering a pandemic grant that the money has come through Metro government here in Davidson County, but sits with United Way, and they're who send it out into the partners. And we're one of those partners. That pandemic granting has been available for people who weren't eligible either through rent or mortgage through the HOPE. You may have heard about HOPE grants or the THDA rental assistance or mortgage assistance granting. It's about to change again because everything keeps changing with the pandemic granting. And so we work with the city and United Way to make those grants possible for families who couldn't get it otherwise. We have a grant right now that is pending that will be for low income families. That's where the focus will be. Again, it's all rent and mortgage assistance, but we will be partnering as a secondary partner with the Family Collective, which is another United Way collective of caseworkers who work with low income families to provide wraparound services. Because we don't do that work, then we partner with them. And then we've also been, over the last year, engaged with the United Way, the First Foundation, and Metro Homeless Impact Division in a landlord engagement partnership. And out of that, Rooftop is developing a program we call MOVE, and it will be helping people who are already in housing and employed, but need to be in more affordable housing, make that move. And that is a partnership with landlords, and that's in the process of being written, but mainly because of that partnership. So I wanted you all to know about that. In 2022, we were able to stabilize 189 households, 417,660 went out in assistance, and that represented 415 Nashvillians. But the other work we did is process the HOPE applications. Again, that was federal funding that came through the state, that came to our city for rental assistance, pandemic rental assistance. And we were one of 4 nonprofits that partnered with Metro Action Commission. We processed 528 of those applications. A large number, the difference between those that were approved and those that got processed is that they were in the court proceedings. When they got to us, they went straight to a court team that Metro Action had in place. And Metro government paid out the assistance, but those 232 applications represented $1.3 million in assistance that we were able to help the city get out. Rooftop tracks not only how we stabilize a home, but did the stabilization work? Are those folks able to maintain that stability for 12 months? We check in at 60 days, at 6 months, and 12 months. And we look at if residents have stayed in the home where assistance was first given, or if they moved. But if they moved, were they able to do that on their own without a judgment? And then we also track if they've been evicted, if they died, or if we weren't able to contact them. In 2021, it takes a full year, obviously, to get those numbers in, but they remain pretty stable. And as you can see, we consider it a success if they are still in the home or we're able to move without a judgment on their record. What we've noticed over the last couple of years, of course, evictions went down when courts were closed. Evictions are starting to go back up again. And people are moving more than staying in the home. They are having to make different choices. And so that's where we're seeing some changes. So one of our top donors asked this question, and we've been talking about it recently. The big elephant in the room, we've had all this emergency rental assistance in the community. We have low unemployment. What is going on? Why is there such an issue in Nashville? Metro Social Services always releases a community impact study for the year. The new one's about to come out, but in 2021, what they were saying was that wages increased by 3%, rents increased by 20%. There's part of our problem. The Red Door Collective tracks evictions in Davidson County. and evictions are up 70% from pre-pandemic numbers. Then you will see it says lack of resources. So one of the things that has happened as we have moved through the pandemic is that a lot of our private landlords have been bought out by large companies, and those companies have automated systems. And when you are late with the first month of rental payment, it automatically gets sent to the court process. And so detainer warrants are being issued very, very quickly. So our evictions are going up. Wages are not increasing at the same rate as rent in our community. And so people are really struggling with finding affordable places to live. Then you added a judgment, an eviction against you, it makes it very, very difficult to get into another rental situation. The other thing that's happened is a lot of our nonprofits have kind of shifted away from that emergency assistance to programs. So you have to be in a specific program to receive assistance. And so some of those resources that used to exist don't exist anymore. And that has made it difficult for our folks to get that one-time assistance. These are just our numbers from right now. So far in 2023, we've stabilized 70 households. 146,559 has gone out the door. As you can see, we're moving quite along this year. The other thing that we started tracking was when people apply with us, we ask them how much they owe. And so we wanted to see how much are they saying they owe? And this is January 2nd through last week. And just so you know, we open and close our applications, and we've had to close them some just so that we could manage the flow of funding and applications. So we've had well over 1.4 million in what people say they owe. So you can see the big difference between what the need is and where we're able to step in. So what are some opportunities with Rooftop? We don't have a lot of volunteer opportunities because we give out granting, but we do have this wonderful game that we participated in Parking Day last year, and one of the architectural firms here in Nashville created this incredible interactive game where you can walk through and see if you get this amount of money, can you make it last? Can you pay all your bills? And so we have that available, and it is where you are actually like the game piece. And we're always willing to lend that out or to come and have a conversation. So if any organization that you're a part of, you want to use that game or have somebody come in and do the game with your folks, we are very willing to lend that out. We have 2 fundraising events coming up. One is we're in the middle of right now, where we've reached out to the community to ask people to submit 3-minute videos that they do about telling the story of eviction. And then we'll have a film festival with the top videos on May 11th. So if you know a filmmaker, we are very lucky in that we've had some sponsorship and are being able to give out 2 $1,000 prizes for these videos. One would be for somebody who gets the most votes. One would be a board voted. So if you have especially young adult filmmakers who could really use a scholarship level prize, jump over to our website and there's all kinds of information about that. We're also going to have an event on September 23rd. That's a Saturday, and it'll be a morning, like 8 to noon event. More details will be coming out on that soon. And you can watch our website for that. And then we're in the process right now of recruiting board members. And we're specifically looking for people who know a lot about marketing and development and growing a nonprofit. If that is something that you know you have those talents and you might be interested in this kind of work, we'd love to talk to you. I've put our website, the @Rooftop Nashville. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. And then the main email and my email is down there, should you want it.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for telling us more about Rooftop Nashville and the importance of rental. And a lot of people don't realize that inflation is getting high, but a lot of wages are not increasing. A lot of people don't know that. So thank you for bringing that up. If you guys have any questions, just hold it till the end of it and we'll answer as much as we can. Let's go ahead over to Habitat for Humanity. So Lucille, it's all yours.
Great. There's ours. Thank you, Joanna. So Lisa, that was a great presentation. And one thing about affordable housing is there are so many facets of it, right? And so you did such a great job of explaining what you do. And we're looking forward to talking just a little bit about what Habitat for Humanity does, which is more in the affordable home ownership space. So we'll kind of move on to the next slide. Madison introduced us. I'm Lucille Houseworth. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer. I'm celebrating my 14-year anniversary with Habitat shortly. Our newest member of the team is John Barfield, who comes to us with lots of experience elsewhere, but is new to Habitat. And then Joanna Richt has been here a couple of years in the grants function, a little over a year, but also had experience at the Miami Habitat. So we've got a great range of experience and, kind of given the complexities of this affordable housing space, it's important to have really a great team. So I'm glad they can join me today and I'm thrilled that we have an opportunity. I want to go to the next slide that really, Lisa, you did a great job setting up this particular slide. So this data is from the Housing Fund, which is here in Nashville, and their most recent housing report states that 44% of renters and nearly 25% of homeowners in Davidson County are cost burdened, meaning that they pay more than 30% of their income on housing. And those statistics that Lisa shared only speak to the fact that this issue is going to continue to increase, because if wages are only going up 3%, rents and housing and all of that is going up 20%, the gap gets wider and wider. So that kind of sets the stage for what we're doing. I'm going to turn it to Joanna to explain it at kind of a high level in terms of our mission and how Habitat fits in with the affordable housing equation, and then she'll turn it to John, who will give us some specific results and outcomes. So Joanna, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lucille. Habitat's mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope. So what exactly does Habitat do? Habitat for Humanity of Greater Nashville builds new, quality, energy-efficient, affordable homes alongside qualifying men and women with incomes less than 80% AMI in the following Middle Tennessee counties: Davidson, Dixon, Cheatham, Wilson, and Robertson. So we unfortunately are not all things to all people, but I'll start with what we're not and then move to what we are. So Habitat is not a crisis housing solution. The homes are not free. It is not a giveaway program. We do not do repair, renovations, or rentals, and we are not a match for everyone, but we are a home builder, a land developer, a volunteer coordinator, mortgage company, educator, social enterprise through our Habitat Restores, which Lucille will talk about in just a minute, a community advocate, and a neighborhood organizer. So a common misconception is that Habitat homes are free. Habitat homeowners actually pay an affordable monthly 0% interest mortgage that's made possible through our funding partners. Habitat relies on government, corporate, faith, and individual partnerships to strengthen lives through affordable homeownership opportunities. And the need for affordable homeownership, not just housing, but homeownership in Habitat's realm, is that applicants to the Habitat Nashville program, many of whom were born and raised in the greater Nashville area, often report that they are living in unsafe, substandard, or overcrowded environments, or that they can no longer afford to live in their hometown due to increased housing costs. I'm going to pass it over to John now.
Thank you, Joanna. And with our service area, we service Cheatham, Dixon, Robertson, Wilson, and Davidson counties. Those counties where you see a Restore are right now Davidson and Dixon. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we service those counties and some of our Habitat neighborhoods. This map kind of shows an overview of neighborhoods that we've developed. Some of our more recent ones are Park Preserve, Sherwood Commons, and our latest one, which is 58 houses, is Village by the Creek, all of which are near Brick Church Pike and within a couple of blocks of that artery of the city. Next slide, please. In that time, we've served more we've been in existence since 1985, and we've serviced 1,000 home buyers since in that time. Of that 1,000 home buyers, that has been 3,482 family members, including 2,185 children. And that data is most current as of December of 2022. We consider ourselves the only home ownership program in the region that has zero interest mortgages, and we're the 7th largest affiliate in the United States. Next slide, please. Our home ownership opportunities are for people who are under the 80% area median income, which is 75,454 family of 4. And of course, we have the regional model. But when we've added these counties, those were in mergers in most of those cases, where we've merged with other Habitat organizations that over the years. Our homeownership program is a 1-year program where home buyers they go through a rigorous curriculum. It teaches them about being a homeowner, about managing your funds, managing owning a home and what that requires. And it helps them to be more stable once they get a home, and also kind of eliminate some of the issues that homeowners may run across by just making them aware of what could happen. Our applications are accepted online, and we'll have links to our website at the end there. I'm trying to approve it. I'm just going to talk about our research.
Great. So thank you, Joanna and John, for explaining what Habitat does and what the results are. Over 1,000 families served in this community since inception in 1985. As Joanna mentioned, we also have a social enterprise, which is the Habitat Restore. And I know there are a lot of folks on this presentation, and you may have had an opportunity to visit a Restore either here in the greater Nashville community or elsewhere in the United States. There are a lot of them, but in terms of kind of here and what we do, we sell new and gently used office and household items at a fraction of the cost. Proceeds from the sales support the affordable homeownership program. As John mentioned, we have currently operating the Dixon and Davidson Restores. We had a store in Wilson County that closed at the pandemic and was not reopened, and we're relocating that store. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. We do free pickups on sellable items. If you go to our website, which is listed there, habitatnashville.org, then go to the Restore. We have free pickup, and that is an opportunity for volunteers. We have opportunities for individual volunteers, groups, sometimes companies come out in terms of a team building day, that sort of thing. We offer opportunities on our build site as well, but in the Restore, we've got lots of opportunities, and big companies come and individuals, and so it's really a great way to contribute to Habitat. So I'll go to the next slide then and talk just a little bit more about the Wilson store. So if anybody on the presentation either lives or has driven through or works in Wilson County, you'll remember the Lebanon Outlet Mall. That whole area is being repurposed now, and Habitat had an opportunity to purchase part of the space there. And so in early 2024, we'll be opening a large restore in part of that space there at the old Lebanon Outlet Mall, which will be called One Lebanon Place. So we're very excited about that. Wilson County, of course, growing. I know Wilson County is not part of this particular United Way jurisdiction, but of course it is an important part of our community. And we also build houses there. It's part of our regional model that John described. So I'll go to the next slide. Thanks. So this is a little bit of then and now, right? So we talked about from 1985 all the way to now. Here's kind of a little bit of a view of the path on that journey. So where we've been and what's next for Habitat. So 2021 and 2022, Habitat did its first townhome project, Sherwood Commons. So John mentioned that up until that point, we had done single family homes only. Of course, affordable land, particularly for single family homes, gets increasingly challenging to purchase. When we produce 30 to 40 homes per year, we're always in need of land. So that's a picture in the middle of what the Sherwood Commons townhomes look like. They're right off of Brick Church Pike at Ewing at Gwynwood Drive, right near a bus line. And so they look spectacular. That's one of our homeowners celebrating moving in. Also under then and now, this is more now what John was mentioning, which is Village by the Creek, where that's underway, a 58 single family home community, not all that far from Sherwood Commons. A lot of our recent work has been in North Nashville, although over the years we've built in Antioch and other locations, and of course in the counties that we described. This is a picture of, or kind of a rendering of what one of our houses is going to look like. And so what we try to do is to build a quality, affordable home that also has visual appeal and is, kind of blends in with the neighborhood. So we wanted to share that rendering. And then going forward, we're part of what we're calling the Parkwood Hayes Trinity Collaboration Project. And so there's a lot of information on this, but just to give you kind of an overview, adjacent to one of our neighborhoods, Park Preserve, there was land that was owned by Metro government, and it was deemed to be kind of surplus property. And so Habitat stepped forward and put in a proposal to buy that property. And as part of buying that property, we also said that we would lead the creation of a Metro Park, working with the Parks Department, and also the renovation of the nearby Parkwood Community Ball Fields, which is adjacent. You can kind of see in the picture, the little blowout there shows you what the 26 homes that are part of the collaboration are going to look like. And so I think, when kind of tying back to what Joanna talked about the mission statement, community is part of what we do. And this is a way that we are delivering on it. Of course, we are home builders, we're working in affordable housing, but home ownership and housing also ties directly into the community. So we wanted to share what is going on with that. That'll all be announced here soon. We're in the fundraising stage already. If anyone's familiar with that part of town, you may have played baseball or softball at the Parkwood Community Club. It's been there a long time. And so as I come to the closing of my remarks, before I turn it back to Madison, I just wanted to join Lisa in doing the commercial for United Way. We are so grateful for the support we receive. First of all, the support helps to build our homes. And it's not just in Davidson County, but in several of our surrounding counties. And that's very, very important to us. And we are so appreciative of that funding. we also received COVID relief. So what that had to do with was, of course, during COVID, certain of our homeowners either lost their jobs or were furloughed. Many of our homeowners work in retail or, kind of at the convention center, things like that, that were shut down or impacted. And so we were granted funds from United Way to help with keeping people in their homes for that short period of time. Lisa, not dissimilar from what you talked about, but of course it was a very specific focus during COVID relief. And then community partnerships, we often get asked to participate or presented with opportunities by United Way, just like this, to share our story with the community. But also, just a recent example, there was an entity that was out at the Gaylord Convention Center, and what they were doing as part of their team building was building bicycles. And so United Way reached out to us and said, would you have an opportunity to come get these bicycles, and would you be able to give them to children of homeowners in future Habitat homes? And so we worked that out, and we were so grateful for that opportunity to receive those bicycles, and again, broaden our partnership. So that brings us to kind of our conclusion here, Madison. And just again, thank you for having us. And, as we started out talking about, and Lisa kind of set it up with those statistics, affordable housing, affordable homeownership is a growing need in this community. And it's just an honor to be here today to talk about how Habitat works in that realm, and to learn more about what others are doing, and to share our story. So thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to tell us more about Habitat for Humanity. It was very informative way of learning more about the mortgage assistance and the process of it all. So at this time, you guys can start typing the questions in the Q&A, and we'll get to it. While we wait, I have some follow-up questions for you guys, if you guys are willing to answer. So everyone loves to hear a success story. So can you, Lisa and Lucille, tell us what was your most successful client or the favorite client story to tell?
Sure. So at Rooftop, we do not take pictures or use names or anything that would identify our clients. So when you go onto our Facebook or our Instagram and you see client stories, they are real stories, but we've changed the names. We've changed some of the details. However, occasionally we do have something that somebody who is willing to come forward, and you'll see a video on our website with the Bradfords, and that's a wonderful couple who she works for Metro Schools, and he worked for a factory, but he was going to work and was hit by an 18-wheeler and was pronounced dead on the scene, but they were able to revive him, and he had gone through a lot of surgeries and had a lot of help along the way from various organizations, but they were at the end and they just needed a little bit more to get them over the finish line. They were still waiting for a disability to come through. They were still waiting for a lot of things, and they got connected with Rooftop, and one of our social workers, who is phenomenal, went the extra mile and really walked with them, got them in touch with their state legislator, who was able to pull some strings, and we were able to get their disability through. And we were able to pay their rent for 2 months, just 2 months. That's all it took to get everything else back in place so that they could move forward. She had to stay out of work to take care of him because he had short-term memory loss. And that gave her just the time she needed to get back to work. So that's one of my favorite stories. And they let us come into their household and film them, which was kind of unique and fun for us to be able to do. And they're still in that house and still doing well. We've helped many folks who are Habitat homeowners because they are in that 80% AMI and below is really a cost burden level of living in this city right now. And it just takes one little thing, like your transmission going. Transmissions can be so expensive, and you can't make that mortgage payment even though it's not that much. But if we can step in, then folks don't get behind, the spiral doesn't happen, and we don't have another homeless family in our community.
Yeah, Lisa, thank you for that story. And actually in my tenure, I've actually referred Habitat homeowners there, and I've actually referred a couple of employees there that hit a bump somehow. So thank you for helping them. You know, Madison, as Lisa was talking, I was thinking about a lot of families that we've helped over the years. The one I would just like to describe was part of our Women Build. So we have a lot of different programs and opportunities to participate, but here locally and in partnership with Lowe's Corporation, that's been a sponsor of that, we restarted our Women Build program in 2013. And so the homeowner for that was a single mother of two children who worked a retail job. And at the time, and of course, salaries were lower, but she was making $9 an hour. And so she lived in, assisted rental housing. And of course, every time she got a raise, she had to contribute more to her housing. And I'm not saying that's not fair. I'm just saying that that was a challenging situation for her because she had such high aspirations for her children. And so we worked with her. She had a lot of support from women who participated in our Women Build. Lots of companies, of course, have those sorts of programs for women in their organization. Individual women came out. We had fundraisers, et cetera. But what I wanted to share was not just her situation, but where she is today. So today, basically 10 years later, she still lives in her Habitat home, and she's had struggles, off and on. She had an accident, fell on an ice storm, broke her leg. Her sick leave didn't cover her entire, loss of wage. And so she was kind of on our delinquency report for a little bit of time, but she's off the delinquency report now and has been for quite some period of time. One of her children is now a college graduate. The other is in college, and she is no longer at her relatively low wage retail job. She now works for the state of Tennessee in the driver's license department. So when I went down a couple of years ago to get my real ID, there was this homeowner, and I walked up to the counter and she said, "Hello, Miss Lucille." And so it just was heartwarming to have been involved, personally, as well as part of the company in her journey and seeing that success and what homeownership has done for her in terms of building equity wealth and being able to send her kids to college.
Thank you guys for sharing your stories. It's always nice to see when you can see the circle. It comes through the circle because sometimes we don't often hear what happened to the client after we help. So those are really good stories. Thank you for sharing that. So we have a couple questions coming in. So Lisa, this question is for you. What is the age breakdown of the people you serve? How many other adults have you been able to help?
Of course. I don't have that statistic right in front of me, and it varies by age, or by year. But we tend to help about, I would say, 15 to 20% the majority of people that we assist are in that 30 to 50 age range. A large number, about 70%, are single women, many with children, single mothers. But we probably assist Around 15% are older adults. We do have some different criteria. If someone is on a fixed income and is over 60, they don't have to document their hardship because we have a lot of our older adults who get scammed or lose their disability check, or it's taken by a family member or some, there are situations that happen that we don't ask for documentation because we know that that income is coming back into the home. And so we're able to assist once with that. But the majority of the folks that we serve tend to be women with children. But we're not limited to that in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you for answering that question, Lisa. That gives a better perspective of where the most clients' needs are. So this question is now for Habitat for Humanity. So this is such an interesting question. I'm curious to hear. Can you share the challenges and opportunities of building homes in multiple service areas that seem to be very different in regards to rural and urban neighborhoods? Is it one size fits all, or do you have a pivot in each of your service areas?
I'll try that and then see if Joanna or John want to add on. So as John said, we're in Davidson County and then the surrounding areas. And I would say it is a core model in terms of home ownership, the training program, the approval process, the sweat equity hours. So we have the same foundation and core, if you kind of use the housing term for the foundation, but it is different in different areas. So for example, in Davidson County, we explained that our most recent community is going to be 58 homes, Village by the Creek. So there, of course, we're building multiple homes at a time. We'll have a number of homes under construction, a number of volunteer groups that are out on the same day. That has, a lot of energy and synergy among the volunteer groups, et cetera. In our outlying markets for Wilson County, we often take a lot and divide it into two, or sometimes build side by side, paired townhomes even. So we might have two groups that are out there, or a group that's working on both homes. And then in Cheatham, Dixon, and soon to be Robertson County, we generally are working on one house at a time. Generally a finite number of volunteer and sponsor groups that are out there all working on that particular home. And so having been in all of those counties, except Robertson, which is new to us, it was a Habitat, John mentioned merger, we merged that in. And so we're getting ready to start a home there in the fall. But having been in all of those counties, I would say that there is commonality to the experience in terms of corporations, faith institutions, people that want to help and want to do that through contributing their time and resources to the build, or to aspects of that, like helping to train people, being a budget coach, et cetera. I think the experience is actually a little bit different when you're, working on, multiple houses at a time versus just one house in Cheatham or Dixon County, for example. But they're all incredibly rewarding. And so thank you for the opportunity to kind of explain how that looks. Anybody in my team want to add to that?
Yeah, briefly. A lot of these projects are different as well because of the topographical challenges that come with it. In terms of the land, there may be some houses that are built higher up, and some are a little bit, some of the rural areas we build on mountains, or we build in areas that are a little unique and challenging. Our director of construction is a master of making that work, and we have a unique team that are of strong home builders that figure out the challenges that come with each house.
I like that question because a lot of people don't realize each county is so different when it comes to the needs and what kind of housing they need. So I thought that was interesting. So thank you for breaking that down, guys. So another question is for both Rooftop Nashville and Habitat for Humanity. What is the most challenging part of your job or the work that you're providing for the community?
That's an excellent question. And I think I'll build off of every county is different. So my staff is tired of me saying this probably, but one of the things, the visual for me most recently is if we only address heart disease when somebody walks into an ER with a heart attack, we aren't going to change heart disease. And one of the things that I've realized in this position is that if we're going to address homelessness, we have to back it up to affordable housing, which we're both talking about. If we're going to have our communities, our residents in our communities be successful, we have to have different levels of housing. And Davidson County is really lacking in that. And so we want to create programs and participate in partnerships with lots of different organizations that are taking pieces of affordable housing. And so that to me is the biggest challenge. Rooftop is or was a very small nonprofit that did one thing. And through the pandemic, we've been blessed to have a seat at the table. And lots of tables have opened up, but to be able to sit in that space, you have to have infrastructure and you have to have those relationships and you have to go through that hard process of building the organization to let it grow. And so that's where we are right now, where we want to be very present to the mission and the clients that we serve, and yet continue to put energy into growing so we can continue to do that in the spaces that we've been blessed to have access to. So it's a fun time, but it's also a challenging time.
You know, the way I would answer that would be related to our city and the changes, and really back to the statistic that Lisa had about how fast rents were growing compared with incomes, et cetera. And so the great news is that, you know, having lived here in Middle Tennessee over 35 years, I have seen incredible growth and companies coming in here and just all kinds of things. Anybody that's been here very, very long at all. And I think that is great. And it has brought Habitat more sponsors, more opportunities, more, opportunities to serve, to be able to add to our restore, et cetera. I will say that it also presents some challenges, you know, because there is so much competition here now and increasing for available land, you know, close into the city. I mean, some of those places where we've built Habitat homes over the years, like right next door practically to the Habitat homes, are going up, rental units, those sorts of things with river views and all of that. So it causes the land to be more expensive. It puts, kind of competition for the resources, both the skilled trades as well as the things that we need to be able to build the house, puts more pressure on the codes department. So I would say that growth is wonderful. It creates just a different mix of challenges for continuing to provide affordable homeownership in our community within a reasonable distance of our jobs base and schools and services and all of that. So I think that's a challenge. I mean, being able to continue to serve our mission through affordable home ownership. And of course, we've had to pivot, in terms of like the townhouses, or as I mentioned in Wilson County, taking a lot and splitting it into two, doing it more compact and all of that. So, I think the great thing is the people that work here, from our CEO throughout the organization, are so passionate about what we do. And back to the mission statement that Joanna shared, bringing communities together, delivering hope and those sorts of things is just, we kind of keep moving and trying to be nimble in terms of how to continue to deliver on our mission.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm a big believer that the people in the community can make a difference to help out. So, and I know it's challenging, but each day I always tell myself, at least we hope at least one person a day. So you guys remind yourself of small wins that you guys have every day. Last but not least, I have one more question for you guys personally. I know you guys mentioned volunteering very briefly, but you guys expand a bit more on how they can volunteer. Is there year-round volunteering they can do and whatnot? So Lisa, I'll let you go first.
I'll be really quick. We don't have a lot of volunteer opportunities because what we do is really grant funding. And so we have small ones. We partner with Hands on Nashville through United Way. Thank you very much. And so you can always find those opportunities. Right now, our one volunteer opportunity is to be a social media ambassador. So if you love Facebook or Instagram and like to share and comment and kind of help grow our social media presence, you can go on Hands on Nashville, and there's opportunity to volunteer. We'll give you specific directions. It's a great opportunity for college students or high school students who are looking for those hours, but we'll take all ages.
Well, actually, you might be able to recruit Joanna, who does that for restaurants and things. Joanna, do you want to just address the volunteer question? Kind of start out.
Yeah. So we do have opportunities for volunteering both on our build site during both build seasons and then out at the restores. So if you want to bring a group out on the build site, we do have kind of like team build opportunities that they are paid opportunities, so they help support the construction costs for these builds. And then there's also opportunities to sign up to be kind of on a wait list if you're just an individual volunteer. We don't have a lot of spaces for those because we do have a lot of these big corporate sponsors coming out, which is super helpful, but definitely check out our website. It's habitatnashville.org, and then there's a volunteer page on there for those opportunities. But at our restore, we have a lot of opportunities that open up that, correct me if I'm wrong, Lucille, they are not paid opportunities. You can just come out with a team and volunteer, and we can always use as many volunteers as we can get at the restore. So highly recommend that. It's just a lot of getting all the products organized and helping receive them. And all of the proceeds, again, from the restore support the mission to build more affordable homes. So that's a great way to help out kind of behind the scenes that is often overlooked. So I highly recommend that.
Thank you guys for letting us about volunteer opportunities. We gotta help out whenever we can. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end this presentation, but if any of our attendees have any follow-up questions, they will be emailed coming out with my contact, and the people that are on the panel will have our contact information on it. So you're more than welcome to personally reach out to them, and they'll get back to you as soon as they can. Thank you again to Lisa, Lucille, John, and Joanna for taking the time to be with us today. I know I speak for all of us in the virtual space that we are so grateful for all the work you have done and to continue to do our time with the community is at most desired needs today. United Way is so grateful to be a partner and the supporter of the work. I also want to say thank you to all the attendees that are attending right now for taking the time out of their day to learn more about the work and how we can help out as a community. This work will come not done without you guys. So I hope to see you guys at next tour Tuesday. If you want to sign up for the next tour, be on the lookout on our website and social media. And thank you again, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for what we the support we get from United Way. We are really grateful, and I know I speak for Lisa as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys for all the work. All right, have a great day.